Good afternoon or evening, or depending on where you may be, all of our merry Marvelites. Welcome to Marvel Movie Talk. Very excited to be here talking about the finale of Wandavision. As always, I'm Christian Bladt, joined by, nope, I had it last week, Michael.
Come on, Christian.
Shirley. Yeah,
come on.
I'm sorry. Michael X Shirley. And down there, as we continue clockwise, Eric Connor.
Having breakfast for dinner.
Also known as Brenner. And, of course, Jeff Williams Jr., as his @ mentioned.
So does it work like this? So you're up there then?
Yeah, it's literally the Brady Bunch. Yeah, we can see each other when we look down. Yeah, if we get anybody else, then we can do Hollywood Squares. And I'll take Michael for the block. So a lot to talk about. Jeff, you weren't able to be with us last week, so I'll start with you today. So I'm rewarding your tardiness with positive reinforcement. No, but give us your thoughts just on how things ended. The good, the bad, put it all in there. Just overall, what your thoughts were on the finale.
I was happy with it. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing. I was happy with it. I thought there was a lot of great pieces. I thought there was a lot of fun moments. It left the door open for, well, I guess we can say spoilers because hopefully everyone has seen this.
Oh, yeah. No, at this point, you need to know spoilers. And by the way, while I'm speaking, let me bring in rounding out our Hollywood Squares, Alanna Jordan.
I haven't seen her so long.
We literally just started, and Jeff was giving the overviews of what he thought of the finale. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, but I was just saying I love some of the pieces, and it left the door open for the twins in future movies, future TV shows, whatever. Because I was a big fan, and seeing like the ending where she kind of had to say bye to her family, I was like, I don't know if I would have did that. I would have just went crazy and just said, "No, we sticking with the hex." So like that's what I would have left off.
I mean, you could have just put the hex at 2800 just around the house and be like, "No,
that's
we're
what
good.
I was thinking.
I can create everything we need. So why do anything else?" Eric, overall thoughts.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I don't feel like I'm much of a wizard in that. I was like, early on, I was like, I think this thing's going to be ending pretty tragically. I think this is going to end. Very nice, Michael. Oh, and by the way, I do have my sign, so this means only I can control magic in this room. Myself or anyone from
Twin Peaks.
That's right. I know you would know that.
From Christian, don't let. Oh my God.
No. Well, let's not go down Twin Peaks. We don't have time. Go ahead.
Now I'm curious, but I mean, this was something I felt like it was in some ways inevitable, and I'm just actually really happy they kind of had the courage to go there. That in the end of this all, like, and I'll tell you guys, I might get a little not emotional, but like the last 12 minutes of this, I was tearing. I will admit it. I'm okay. I got enough beard. I can admit when I cry. Monsters Inc. and this.
Your catcher.
Yeah. Michael and I are dead. Michael and I are dead inside, so you won't hear any such admonitions.
I'm a Mets fan too, so there's part of me that will never be alive. But in the end of it all, I do feel like this thing was about grief and sadness, and it nailed that piece. I wasn't so crazy about the first half, but I want to hear from the rest of you.
Yeah, no, we'll break it down a little bit more. I mean, because here's the interesting thing. There's plenty of things that we were right about, but lots of stuff we'll talk about that we were not right about. There's good, there's bad, but it ended pretty much the way I expected it to. Tragically. With all the warm fuzzy feelings just pushed aside. And Michael, there's a couple of things that happened that maybe you weren't happy about, but when someone didn't make an appearance and revealed as the big bad guy, you must have been relieved, Michael.
Oh yeah, that old Ralph Boner.
Well, no, the Ralph Boner is disappointing in a different way, but the fact that it wasn't like, and I'm Mephisto, the fact that there were no incarnations of the devil anywhere in here.
We watched Hellstrom. I knew they weren't going to go there. I just knew they weren't.
You hope they would learn from Hellstrom.
Yeah.
But I did think they would have a boner joke.
I think they kind of did.
Yeah, you know what? No, he had that in the office pool. Somehow you knew that was
That was
coming.
my son square.
So no Mephisto, but Michael, your thought. Obviously, your investment emotionally has been Speed and Wiccan all the way.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling right now?
Well, I don't think we've seen the last of them. I think we're gonna see them come back.
Yeah.
In the end, I was kind of like, "Where's my Ghost Vision? Where's he at?" Like,
well, I mean, we'll talk about that. That
right.
seemed to be like there's always a lot of dissatisfaction on social media with anything when it ends, and that seemed to be even people that weren't angry or disappointed. That
wasn't angry, yeah.
No, just it's the biggest question. Although there were plenty of people angry about it. All right, so Elena, overall thoughts on the way that it ended, the finale of WandaVision.
I loved the finale. I definitely cried my eyes out, but I did in the penultimate episode too, so I knew that I was going to in the finale. I was like, you crafty minxes setting up all these animals that were actually just red herrings. That's the only animal that we actually needed to clock the whole time with red herring.
That's true.
The whole time I was watching, I'm so not a numbers person, and I was thinking, I wonder how Elena's Wandanon conspiracies are playing out right now.
Actually, the numbers still hold up because it's all like phase 4 stuff, so it's all like references to other things, and also I knew that they were going to do something pretty like something similar with like the tear and like the kiss, just because this is almost exactly the White Vision story that is referenced in the numbers, that I didn't even get to before. But it was one that was referenced early on. That is the one where it's after Vision's lost his memory and he's not able to feel emotion. And so there's the professor who has the son who dies, and then they're able to upload Alex's like memories or whatever to Vision. But it doesn't actually work, and he fakes it. So he like pretends to be human to have this interaction. But anyway, whole thing is like to set up to where at the end he kisses this girl on the beach and then he cries. And it's the first time that he has like, White Vision has emotion. But the thing that I hated on this was they rushed it so much that when fake Vision, like creation Vision, Love Vision sounds nicer. I'll call him Love Vision. Love Vision, when he like bestowed all the memories onto White Vision, I was like, okay, so either he's going to go kill himself because his objective is to destroy Vision and now he sees himself as Vision, or, which unlikely, is going to be something that we're going to see later on. But the whole thing with White Vision is him regaining his humanity. So if he just got it immediately, I was like, well, then what the F?
Yeah, no, I think it's more of like an information upload. So it's like now you know these things. And I mean, anybody who watched Star Trek Next Generation, I mean, this is basically the evolution of Data, was that, he knows all this stuff, but he couldn't actually feel it until the movies. I think that there's the
Next Gen too, because every time I see freaking Photon's outfit, don't you think like this is just Star Trek?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get specific, it's like the cadets in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, but I don't think anybody wants to get that specific. But that's what I'm here for. Michael definitely didn't want that. Yeah, but see, Eric's nodding. You know what I'm saying. I think that the short answer on White Vision is that he flew off to the next Avengers movie. Also, by the way, every indication, every expectation is that this show was a one-off, a one season, and it is billed as the series finale. But if you want to tell another story with Wanda and Vision, you have White Vision now, and does he want to try and feel again? I mean,
want a Wiccan Hulkling. That's what I want. I'm like, if you're gonna have the kids, and I'm like, grow up and give me a friggin' Wiccan Hulkling, like domestic, like 1950s-esque thing. I think that would be awesome.
Well, and to Michael's point that we haven't seen the last of them, we didn't hear the last of them because at the very end, in true Marvel fashion, we had multiple credit sequences, and I thought, it was definitely a nice touch to be like, no, we didn't forget about them, but I figured that there's a lot of different Wanda source material, Vision source material. I just felt like they were going with the permutation where, if she's not creating them and maintaining them, the twins don't exist. But the idea is that they can be somewhere where they can be found again and possibly recast by actors whose names can go on posters. Just putting that out there. That could be what they're doing.
I didn't know that was the little kid from The Haunting of Hill House, like the friggin' adorable little kid with the glasses. That was.
I definitely didn't know that.
Well, did you know the little girl from Haunting of Hill House is Peppa Pig?
What?
Mind blown.
Mind stone blown.
Cami Egan, I don't think I'd want a second season because this laid some great groundwork for the films. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is connective tissue for the movies. And I think that we'd be served by White Vision showing up in a movie. I
feel like that's not very PC. Can we just call him Ghost Vision?
You know what? I'm glad somebody said it because obviously
what do you think, Jeff?
If he was called Black Vision, I would have been upset. Couldn't he just been called Vision? Like, why you gotta be black? But that's beside the point. It's not me. Look, I'm here for it. Y'all call him whatever y'all want to call him.
That's good.
Caucasian Vision.
Albino Vision. But he was always known as this version of Vision was always referred to as White Vision. But I guess some people do call him Ghost Vision.
Just me, I think.
I think it's
made that up.
Just Cataract. Just keep the project name. He's just Cataract.
So I mean that's my expectation there. And I think that when we went round robin, basically, I think we touched on it. But look, they told us it was Agatha all along. She was the big bad of this show. It wasn't Mephisto. It wasn't Nightmare. It wasn't it wasn't anybody else. It was her. She was the one who was trying to basically steal Wanda's power and couldn't.
But to that point, though, like if she didn't show up, what would have changed here? Think about that, right? Because you still would have had the Hex. You still would have had her losing control of her powers. So really, what actually did Agatha do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can go ahead, Alanna.
I think this actually, I want to bring up, this is a theory kind of that my friend Ellie Gonzalez had, who is brilliant, but she said from the beginning that she thought it was the stages of grief. And so it was like starting out with denial, like how, everything is, and then when things start to kind of fall apart, but she's still kind of maintaining it. I think the whole thing is that Agatha kind of, exacerbated that and pushed it to where all of these kind of instances would happen so that Vision would question it, because she's the one who made things made Vision start questioning, basically. So when he started questioning his own reality, that's when things started falling apart, because he's a part of Wanda. So if she hadn't have been there, I feel like it would have been stuck in the denial phase, because she was still happy with her VR vision that she created. So it's if there hadn't have been an antagonist to kind of lay those seeds of doubt, because when you go back to and watch, even when, the scene where we see her get, zapped and then, you're dead, whatever. That was so direct, where her headlights are pointing like a beacon, where it's where he comes down for her to have him question all these things. So if she hadn't have been there, I think that it never would have gotten past that first phase.
But Sword was still trying to reach her, though. I mean, part of it too, if she didn't do it, in the end of it all, Catalyst speeds up the inevitable. Believe it or not, everyone uses Catalyst wrong. They think Catalyst causes. No, Catalyst speeds. And yes, speed. I know that I used the word intentionally. But I think to that end, maybe it would have been it would have been more than 9 episodes. It would have been like 1,000 episodes. But I do feel like because Sword kept trying to reach, maybe that would have been the crack in the dam. But that was the one thing I did feel in the end a little bit, maybe slightly less satisfied with, although I'm not a Han hater like some. But I do think maybe she could have figured a bit more into the mechanism of this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think inevitably when, anybody's aware of what's going on in Westview, New Jersey, I think you would attract attention of, say, Doctor Strange or, someone who's going to have to actually pull Wanda aside and be like, let me tell you why this is wrong.
Where was our big cameo that no
Are you talking about
the engineer?
Paul Bettany was trolling everybody. It was himself. It was him saying the actor he's always wanted to work with was the scene with himself. It was just
basically overnight somebody tweeted out an article which was, I guess they were holding off until the actual release of the episode because yes, that's what he was talking about, an actor he always wanted to work with. He was just trying to have some fun. And it was
British humor, I guess.
Yeah. It's like Benny.
That's a hex no, sir.
It's like Benny Hill. It's not for everybody. Okay, if you love it, you love it, and if not, you don't. Yeah, and I think that's really what it was people were like, yeah, where's this cameo? Where's Reed Richards? And so what it ultimately comes down to is there are things that you can legitimately be disappointed about. Mr. Boner being one of them, but it's also just
not a disappointment.
I can understand what because what that character doesn't represent is a disappointment. But a lot of the disappointment is like, well, just because you got excited because you wanted Reed Richards to be in this, like logically, did you really think Reed Richards was going to be in this? It would just would have. It's just one of those. No, I don't mean the panel on this show.
I represent 20% of the audience.
That's true. You do. Exactly. And, I think that the disappointing thing that Agatha didn't open a doorway to the Fox X-Men movie universe. And it's just a guy with a headshot where he looks like Michael Cera. And that's really all they had. It's like, oh, that's a little bit disappointing because it's not what we thought that meant. It's just a guy who she cast as Quicksilver, who in the real world coincidentally happened to play Quicksilver in a few movies. What were you going to say, Alanna?
I was going to say that, the Ralph Boner, I was like, get it, because it's a dick move, Feige. But I do wonder, though, because she absorbs Agatha's power, somewhat when she casts the runes too, we see her take back her own power, but we also see the purple, which is assumed that she's absorbing some of Agatha's. I wonder if that is going to set up later where, because we were able to hear Billy, if it's because she absorbed that, if that's going to be our segue into the Nexus of all realities, because I'm still 100% that the Nexus is our new Infinity Stones for Phase 4. I'm 100%.
Yeah, I mean, look, the word multiverse is in a movie that we know is coming, and we know that the multiverse is going to factor into Spider-Man later this year, which Doctor Strange is in.
So commercial, the Nexus,
depression commercial. The Nexus antidepressants, where they flat out were like Nexus, but to create the Nexus of all realities, there has to be multiple. So if it's later that she teams up with Strange and that's what opens it, it could be that part of Agatha, kind of going back to what Eric was saying, like what is her function longer term now that she has that kind of OG witch power, I don't know, that she got the Covenant power that was absorbed. Maybe now that's why she's able to then open the Nexus or act as a Nexus to open the Nexus of all realities. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that just like with, what was the ruling albino vision? I don't even know what we're calling him. But,
Ghost Vision.
New Vision. The fact that, in terms of hey, what happened to him? It's well, that's going to happen later. I think future stories might make us realize okay, no, so this did represent, like you're saying, a Nexus or a multiverse, other realities and all that. So I think that it did a great job in setting up, what's to come next. Only that what's to come next are honestly a couple of movies that I just don't want in my way of getting more of the story. Like, I mean, come on, Black Widow, that movie we've talked about, it should have come out 5 years ago when it's set. And like Eternals, like, okay, I guess Shang-Chi could be cool, but can you just give me the Doctor Strange movie before any of those? Just because they're already filmed doesn't mean that they need to come out first, does it? Just because they haven't started filming Doctor Strange, I don't understand why we can't just get it in May.
Know why. There's all kinds of little things tied up leading up to everything.
I know. I'm just saying I don't want to wait.
Now I'm just thinking, Christian, how good that scene would have been when Black Widow sacrifices herself if there had been a Black Widow Hawkeye buddy team movie, years ago. That would have been freaking amazing. That would have just set up the most epic, and I'm so mad it didn't happen.
Yeah, well,
Black Widow's turning into the New Mutants movie. Like, is anybody really gonna watch it when it comes out? Like, I know I see the shirt. That's what inspired the comment. Because, I watched it in the drive-in, and I'm like, this is 2 years too late, and it's just. At
this point, they should just put it on Disney Channel, not even Disney Plus.
Oh,
so you wanted to put it on Disney Channel with commercials
between a special High School Musical 2-3 double feature. It'll be like the cartoons between the double feature.
I mean, the stuff that we're really excited for is, at least at the end of this year, we're scheduled to get the Spider-Man movie. But and I'm not even saying that I don't think. Shang-Chi will be cool because it's a different kind of movie. And when they've taken on different genres, it's usually worked well. And Eternals is a bit of a crapshoot. It's like one of those could be really good. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be really good, but I hope it will be. And, just the fact that more of this story is a long way off is frustrating. I do want to circle back, though, to the series on the whole and, all the different things that we didn't get. The things that we were hoping for, and the big most surprising thing about this final episode was the 40 seconds that Kat Dennings was in it. And I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with they did have to stop production and then they resumed in October to finish this series. Maybe she just wasn't available at that point.
Maybe she had COVID.
Yeah, or she just was, terrified of going out of her house. It could be certainly as simple as that, or again, Two Broke Girls reboot. Maybe she was busy, maybe that's a big secret. That's a Paramount Plus week 2 that they're going to drop the Two Broke Girls reboot. And she's just like, mum's the word. Can't do any more Vision, but
Two Broker Girls.
Two Broker Girls. Yeah. So, what
about two middle-class women? How's that for a show title?
They were no longer two broke girls. They were now.
We had it.
I think it just evolves into Grace and Frankie after a while. That's
I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like we had that because you said middle aged, so we had that. It was called Kate and Allie. So we get all these shows.
A very long 5 years.
Yeah. So. I think that we can highlight all the things that we liked and the things that were minor disappointments. Is there anything, and we'll go around again. Is there anything that you were like, this is what I really wanted to see out of these 9 episodes, or do you maybe not have any of those lingering things? I'll ask you first, Michael.
I meant to say something last week. I was like, why is Wanda driving this red Buick Verano?
Oh, the product placement, the very uncomfortable product placement. Yeah,
I was
sure.
Like,
I noticed that.
What the hell is this? And I knew it was that car because I looked at that car when I was looking at new cars, and I was like, I wonder how she likes it. And I'm also thinking, like, why isn't she just flying? And then when she picked that car up and threw it into Catherine Hahn, I was like, well, they did just discontinue the model. I thought that was. I loved when she threw her car at her and she just flew from then on and was like, I don't need to drive. I really enjoyed.
And when we were watching last week, that's exactly what my wife said. She said, why isn't she just flying? And I'm like, sometimes you get tired. Like, you don't want to fly all the time,
Who wants to drive on the New Jersey Turnpike?
I flew all the way here from New Jersey, and boy, are my powers tired.
Look, It's still one of the only places where you can find a Roy Rogers is the New Jersey Turnpike. So maybe Wanda just wanted to go over to the Fixins bar. You know, it could be that simple. You know,
not during COVID.
You should have mentioned the car because now I'm going to talk about the license plate when it's my turn.
Oh yeah, what was it? No, it said something. What was
her
that?
license plate? Did you talk? You didn't talk about her license.
I didn't talk about it last week.
Yeah,
I
remember
it
said
wasn't that the train station code?
Yeah, we talked about it after. I don't think we talked about it.
That's right. Oh, that's right. You guys missed bonus numbers, our special after midnight show.
Oh yeah. But I also really liked that. It seemed like we weren't done with Agatha. I still don't think of her as a big bad. I'm not really sure if she's like as strong of a witch as she says. Wouldn't you think maybe she probably would know she couldn't be the Scarlet Witch? Part of me just kind of feels like she was trying to take it from Wanda because I still think she's scared of Wanda. But
yeah, but
I feel like she's gonna pull her back because there were lots of little, when they were saying goodbye, it made it sound like we're gonna see you later.
Yeah, and I think that look, there's going to be something that she doesn't understand, and even though Stephen Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme, I mean, I'm sure had that role for he's had that role for like 5 years, so there's going to probably be.
Agatha is.
Well, yeah, there's probably going to be questions that she can answer, and it's going to be worth. I believe we'll definitely see her again, probably in the Doctor Strange movie. For who knows how much we'll see her, but Wanda makes a point. I know where I can find you, Eric. What were there any sort of lingering feelings where you were like, oh, we didn't quite get the thing that I really wanted? Something that you almost got, or what feeling in that respect do you have?
I mean, I did find the ending pretty damn satisfying emotionally, sort of just storytelling wise. I mean, the geek stuff, yeah. I mean, especially here's the problem. I talk to you brilliant folk, and I read, the wonderful chats, and those are the shows I want to watch. Was Alanna? I think you said like Spider-Man comes out. Maybe it was Michael. It's like you guys get me so excited about possibilities I didn't even consider, and then all of a sudden I watch this last episode. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I thought and again, I know we're going to break it down more. I thought the first half, and someone posted this. Alan Sepinwall is a really good TV critic. He said something that I thought was interesting, and you guys might have a take on this. Like, besides the Avenger movies, can you think of a MCU movie where the climax was like the best part of the movie? Was the
you're saying apart from the Avengers movies, right?
Right, except for like Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War. Can you think? And I realize like that's a good point. Where oftentimes, like even Captain America: Winter Soldier, which I love, like some of its best moments are not the climax. And so even here, where it's like the climax of them fighting, a lot less satisfying than I thought it could be. Like it was fine, it was exciting-ish, but it wasn't like it didn't grab me in the way that those quiet scenes grabbed me. I mean, I think for me, like everything about this that was just a drama, totally got me.
You're not a Shakespeare man.
I'm not a Shakespeare man. Oh,
no.
I got the beard.
Wait, no. What is it? What is it called when it in the big middle? It's like when it's at its height.
The climax.
It applies. Yeah. I mean, like in the middle of a story. Was it like Julius Caesar and all?
I mean, there's
rising action, and then it goes to the climax. And
your Act 3 climax should be the biggest thing. And a lot of times these Marvel stories, for some reason, they don't quite have that same impact. So I think because of you guys spoiled me with possibilities that no show could deliver unless literally everyone in this room wrote it.
Yeah, unless we were the showrunners. In the chat, Kame Egan, referencing one of William Shakespeare's lesser-known works, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, said that had a good climax. So I think that might be that's that opinion. I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of times the way that the movies end, I just think of like the ones that I like the best, like the first Captain America. It's like I don't even know about like how great the ending is or whatever. It's just like, well, I enjoy the whole movie. It doesn't sort of fall off there. But I don't know. I think that I know what you're saying though. It's like the like superhero action is like all, well, we've seen that, but like the taking your time with the emotional stuff, we don't get that in the movies, not to the extent that we got here.
Yeah.
So I think you do appreciate it more because we got it. I mean, you know, there have been a lot of those sort of memes that people have been posting of, you know, conversation between Vision and Wanda last week, and, you know, some of their goodbye in this episode. But what about you, Jeff? What do you think in terms of things that maybe you were hoping to see? And Craig Robinson, I think, is giving us the word we were looking for, crescendo.
I think it's a Greek tragedy.
Oh, okay. So, well, Oedipus Williams, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go off of what Eric was saying, but on a different side of it. After watching it, I was very upset with episode 8 because it was very slow. It gave us a lot of backstory. It gave us a lot of story about Wanda, which is dope. But like, we had 7 episodes to do that. We spent that time being in the 50s, being in the 60s, not seeing powers, not seeing a lot of like action. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see action. I wanted to see superpowers. I wanted to see Scarlet Witch be Scarlet Witch, and see witches fight, which we saw in the last episode. But like, for this to be an introduction I saw this as an introduction for Marvel to the normal fans, as in the everyday, we'll watch TV shows because we're probably not going to watch a Marvel movie that we don't know what's happening. We'll watch a TV show. This was a weird introduction to it, and I wasn't ecstatic about it. I love the story because I love the characters, but I didn't love it as a whole. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be that introduction that Marvel wanted it to be, because it's going to be action the whole time rather than story based. You got to know the characters, you got to know some backstory, and then the theories and everything. But on the theory side, just real quick, some of the characters and actors, they tease like when Tiana Parrish was like, I can't wait till you see who the aerospace engineer is, and Paul Bettany's like, I can't wait till you see who I'm acting with. You're teasing people, so like when we have all these theories and great ideas and pop points that they add in there, it's your fault that we're getting disappointed and stuff to an extent because you tease that.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically trusting him. And by the way, very respectfully, Ghost 83, agree to disagree, Jeff. And yeah, I think that I definitely understand what you're saying, and your point about Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was supposed to be the first of these Disney Plus Marvel series. It's just scheduling didn't allow for it. But it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be a completely different tone, and it's 6 episodes. So I think it's definitely going to be something that, it hits faster and harder. And then before you know, it's all over. And then, of course, there's the simple fact that I think my expectation for that show is I'll be watching it Friday morning. I will not be staying up until 1 a.m. to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. I love Sam. I like Bucky, but I'll be up in the morning to watch it.
Even when they start to mention like some Wolverine storylines and stuff, you're still gonna be waiting.
If there's any allusion to Project X or any Department H, anything like that, then yeah, I'll start staying up. But I don't think that this is where we'll get it. We can isolate this clip if I'm wrong, and then I'm like, I gotta stay up and watch. All right, so Alanna, we've got license plate talk. Start there. And, just go with sort of just general thoughts of things of like, oh, we almost had this or we almost had that. The things that you're like, oh,
this is great.
I mean, I have to also respectfully agree to disagree, Jeff. I thought that the progression of this was amazing. I loved the pacing and having it snowball to the end, even just like the cinematography and having it start from, the classic television, like the 1950s, leading all the way to the cinematic, where this last episode felt like you were watching a movie. Like, I am excited to watch it later and rewatch it on my projector, because I'm like, I need a whole wall for this. It led up to, here's the progression of film into what we now do, which is get ready for phase 4, because you thought we were big before. Wait till you see what we got now. Like, that's just kind of how the progression felt to me. But I really liked the battle. I liked having, you know, Wanda bringing it, you know, going from like ruin to runes. And I was like, girl, yes. But I mean, I was disappointed not to have any reference to Mephisto at all, just because I feel like that is going to be a character that may be brought in later. And I would have liked to have seen it at least teased, because they had so many references, even using the name Ralph and having the fly and things like these were blatant like psych outs for fans. So I felt like if they had even had a post-credit thing where we had some sort of something where we don't know who he is or what it is, but there's just some reference to here is our big bad, not just the power hungry selfish individual, but someone who has larger kind of goals. I don't know, it just felt like
I agree. I agree with you on that. And I kind of was like in the theories, I was kind of guessing that Mephisto would jump in somewhere and kind of be like, I'm really pulling the strings for Agatha. So maybe that is what's going to happen in Doctor Strange 2, where it's like she's just playing the Loki role, and it's really Mephisto.
No, Loki has his own show.
No, I'm just saying, like,
the Loki, honey, you're so
one role. Like,
yes.
we think she's the big bad, and it's really Mephisto and stuff. So, like, we'll see.
Let me bring in Larry's comment from the chat. The only disappointing thing for me was that I thought Agatha would have been better used as a cruel, tough love mentor, trying to help the people of Westview rather than as a power-hungry villain. But that's not the way that they chose to tell the story. Our pal Farad Muhammad, he was drawn to
that wasn't an accident at all.
I know.
I have no idea what you mean. Why would no? Farad Muhammad said, I was drawn to the show because of the shout outs to television history. I agree. I think that's why the show was talked about so much, especially the first few weeks. It was unfortunate that it was dropped pretty much entirely by episode 8, but it had to end some point before Wanda returned to the real world. Speaking of real world, we never did quite get the reality show. We got the fake reality show testimonial, the Modern Family sort of approach, but we never did get the, the Road Rules competition or Survivor or something.
I watched American Horror Story Roanoke. Evan Peters was like, don't do it, man. It doesn't work. You're going to try it and you're going to be sad halfway through the season.
That was a real disappointment.
Anyone who watched that season is like, you can't fake the yes, right? Don't try to do the reality TV in a scripted thing like this. It will not work. You will be sad. You'll write yourself into a corner and everyone will be disappointed.
Craig, let me just throw in, Craig Robinson is just talking about, the rabbit, the Melman's comments, the engineer. There are some things that you're like, I don't quite know what it means. But it does lead me to what I wanted to bring up was sort of the aftermath when everybody is returned back to normal. But it's not like they forgot what happened. She didn't think to go, now we're all friends. And do they hate her? And she's one of the Avengers, and this is like, that's X-Men territory, where it's like, you do all this stuff to save people. I mean,
maybe we'll see a villain rise out of Westview to try to take out Wanda for what they did.
And maybe it's Deborah Jo Rupp, the mom from that 70s show,
That was the cameo.
That's Mephisto, bitches.
By the way, how many theories were there about Dottie, who is probably the most minor character on this show?
The forgotten huge.
I'm Sarah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't give her a line in the credits on this episode, given who she is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
episode 2. I think I was
what
like,
was the line of it? Thanks, going home. Bye.
So I wanted to see what everybody thought of that. I'll ask you first, Eric. Just sort of, I think that's one of those sort of very, sort of somber, dramatic moments where it's just like, we had all of our superhero fun, and hey, remember how you jerked us around for a couple of weeks? Yeah, thanks, Scarlet bitch.
Right. Consequences.
They were seeing red.
Exactly.
Yes. Complete. Right. Well, first of all, once again, we can't take New Jersey out of the picture. That is just New Jersey. That's a New Jersey hello. That's I drive to Jersey. That's how people treat me.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But really, in the end of it all, I think it does get. You're right. It gets into the X-Men territory, and also too. One of the things that sort of annoys me in modern writing is how many times someone has saved the world multiple times. So Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, Spider-Man, and then all of a sudden one person says, he did something terrible, and everyone suddenly hates that person, even though we have seen them save the fucking world. But I do like here this idea that they are really setting up Wanda as a villain, and they already have planted that with what happened with Civil War. I mean, that was her. So, and that's, I think they're really smartly and very organically making something work that does not work all the time for me in other movies, which is how do you take someone who's a hero, turn them into a villain, and not in a way that's just convenient for story, but rather feels earned, feels like, of course, now people hate her. So, no, I think those moments were a nice surprise and totally made sense for me. And
yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting them. What did you think, Michael?
I mean, like in reference to that, not a lot. I mean,
no, just sort of the taking. You're taking the time to sort of have these things where it's like, you don't need to linger on it, but because it's a whatever it is, 7-hour TV show, you can just kind of drag it out.
Yeah,
and, they're giving her the stink eye.
I don't. Well, you've hosted with me for a long time. I try not to heavily read too much into stuff because I'm so used to like shows like Pretty Little Liars, like stuff that is just throwing you all kinds of crazy stuff, and it never ends up anywhere having to do with anything. And I think of a lot of these things like The Fly and all this stuff for like the diehards who read the comic books, who know that's just a little more for them. That's just too much for an American audience, for a Disney audience, to just really make the comic books a reality. Everything's a little more family friendly. It doesn't bother me because I just don't get too hung up on that stuff.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I can definitely see what that, I can sort of see, just sort of looking at it that way, a little bit more big picture. Something that Cami Egan mentions, Agnes saying Wanda is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme was quite the foreshadowing line. That was, I thought, a very striking visual we got, Elena, in the post-credits moment, which is that, she's sitting there just having a nice Bigelow tea while she's also, splitting her concentration. If she was able to run the simulation for weeks on end, she can certainly be in two places at once where she's like, she's basically pulling an all-nighter. It's like, I got to study every page of the Darkhold. Do they have cliff notes for this thing? I don't even know if they do, but let me just see what I can find. I thought that it was definitely very striking that we're just like, oh, look, she's getting to live quietly. A little bit too much like Thanos, before he got his head cut off, for my taste. Just sitting there like in the house out, and it's like, oh, everything's great. But tell us what you thought about that sequence.
I'm totally lost. Did I miss something?
Looks like you did. Yeah. Did you not watch through the credits?
I watched.
Is this your first Marvel?
I watched the scroll. I saw.
Yeah, but there's another sequence.
Michael, go ahead, put it on. We'll wait. We'll all wait.
Go.
No, let's not talk. Let's just wait. Go grab a tea.
Yeah, he's gonna go watch the last bit of the show.
By the way, we could have done an amazing prank there. And created something that wasn't there at all. I'm realizing now we could have said
oh, thank God we did get Reed Richards at the end, and it was so weird that he was there with Peter Parker.
I'm just kidding, you guys. But no, I have absolutely I have no idea.
I thought you just straight up pulled a white vision. It was just like, no explanation.
I love a spoiler. It's fine. Go for it.
That's what we were talking about. Is you hear the twins' voices at the last thing you hear. Yeah. They're out. They're saying, like, help us,
Mom, help.
Yeah.
Mom,
so
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I was very happy for Michael, by the way, there.
Yeah, but then the part where you. Sorry, I know there are 5 of us, but Michael, the part where you would have been able to be like, oh, thank God, is the part you didn't watch.
Okay, I'll look forward to that in a few minutes.
But circling back to that sequence that Michael's going to get to discover for the first time, Alanna, what did you think of how that sort of the foreshadowing there, beyond just the idea that she's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, just sort of her splitting her focus like that?
I mean, I loved it, and seeing the Doctor Strange like visual that was just like very evident, and then having where it's like, don't worry, there is multiverse because you can hear the little ones, but I don't know. I still just wanted a little bit more. Like, I wanted there to be like something at the very, very end, like after there's silence, then you see all of the different language dubs. Then I wanted there to be like, and then dark, shadowy figure. It's the stork. It's, what is it? Is it Mephisto? Who knows? What's happening?
Wandavision.
It was just like, done.
Yes.
I'm going to forget if I don't do the license plate too.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's where we were going to start before. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, and I forgot because I started going off on a tangent to tell Jeff why he's wrong.
All right. So what do you want to say about the license?
Jeff is the daddy of this room.
So I do love that there are little hints to all of the upcoming, or not all of them, but a lot of upcoming things. There are like little hints and references, and having anytime that there's something that's, where there's production design where it's in sharp focus, specifically the license plate, because that's an angle that's, very specific to show it off. And seeing too in the kind of like Modern Family-esque one when it was showing all the different Wanda intros, like the around town like Wanda intros, when it had the Stanley birthday license plate. Did you see that when it said Wanda? It was 12/28/22, which is Stanley's birthday.
Right.
That was above it. But what I also love is that also was the SHIELD designation for the planetary event The Pulse with Reed Richards. So maybe that might be something later. I don't know. But the license plate that she had, and I've seen people trying to figure this out, and I think I figured it out. But hers was 2011 EKH, which 2011 is the year that Captain America, First Avenger, came out. EKH is Elkhart Station, which is not the flight designation, the train station. Captain America train scene, infamous train scene. But in Indiana, that's the main train station in Indiana, which is where Bucky's from in the comics, which was alluded to when the two girls from Indiana that he's flirting with in the first movie. And it's a New York license plate, which is where, of course, Steve is from, famously.
Right.
So I feel like that's what it is it's setting up, hey, shout out to Bucky.
That's true. Soon to be on our televisions and soon to be discussed on the show. And
I hate Bucky.
Tammy Egan. I thought Doctor Strange was going to appear when we see Wanda in the middle of nowhere. I didn't just want my prediction to be right. I just logically thought we were going to see it very briefly. I don't know what you have to pay Benedict Cumberbatch for 5 seconds.
Wong,
not much.
Yeah, or at least Wong. That's true.
Wong is great. He's more user friendly and affordable. We've all talked about the necessity financially for the casting.
Yeah, well, it's true.
I think he's on Cameo.
Yeah,
off-camera voice, cheapest option. Go with that. Little kid from off-camera, done.
Yeah,
you don't get Mephisto, you get nothing.
Jeff, sort of the same sort of thing that we're kind of talking about here, kind of winding it down, before we look ahead. Just any final lingering thoughts that you want to make sure we get to. And if you have any license plate stuff, I'm happy to give you the time for it. I don't want you to feel left out.
No, I mean, one of the things like with that last scene, not only did I also think Doctor Strange was going to be there because it made too much sense, but when I saw the scene, it looked very familiar, and I was like, why does it look familiar? And it's almost identical to when Doctor Strange is learning about all the things he's learned about. Because like when he's asleep, he's also awake reading the books and stuff. So it's like I'm expecting her to be twice as strong in the next movie because there's a whole chapter about her powers. So she's gonna learn about all her powers by the time we even see her in Doctor Strange, Madness of the Multiverse. So I'm just interested to see that, and I thought it was a cool parallel.
Yeah, no, I think that there's plenty of cool stuff we get there like that. I just want to it sort of reiterates something I said earlier. Michael B says, I feel the scene when Wanda was walking down the street and the folks were giving her the side eye might be the clue that Wanda will, to get her sons back, bring mutants into this world. Maybe that's where they are. Maybe they are where Uncle Pietro is, and maybe we will see him, and all the things that we thought we were going to get that now we think we're not going to get, we actually are going to get. And I think that there's so much. And look, because of how many times I highlighted people that disagreed with you, Jeff, Kimmy Egan is just a big old yeah, Jeff. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm
saying.
I think something that we haven't really talked about today, at least, is the fact that this hex kept moving back and forth. And I'm wondering if we saw what that did to Monica. Maybe we've already had mutants made.
It's true. Yeah, I would have really liked to have seen more of Monica's abilities, but I think that's a story for another time. They did just give us enough. We did get the nice squirrel moment, which Michael did see, and I think that it's another one of those things where it's like we want more with Ghost Vision. We want more of Monica. We want more of the these things that are all going to happen over multiple different movies. I mean, I would assume that, her story will be in Captain Marvel 2, where we get to see more of Monica, but who knows? So there's this idea that the big bad in here was Catherine Hahn's character, Agatha Harkness, but also, I mean, Sword is, definitely were the most active. I mean, because Agatha really wanted to know more first. And then when she was sure, she's like, well, now I want to steal your power. But I mean, basically, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the character's name now, the director of Sword,
Hayward.
who gets arrested. Yeah, Hayward. If he could have dropped a nuke into the hex and gotten the Vision out, he would have, So I think that's really, I mean, it's the two fronts really that the two wars that Wanda's fighting. But I feel like, there should be more to that story, but we also could never see that character again, like ever, ever, ever. Do you?
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
Where the hell is Agnes supposed to live? Is she going to live in Ralph's house? Because I was like, she'll live in Wanda's house, and Wanda's house is gone. So I was like, where the F is Ralph supposed to live? Like, what? I don't understand this plan. He doesn't have a
Ralph's
home.
got his man cave upstairs.
Yeah.
Ralph has a back house.
Yeah.
She's the king of
you just like I feel like, is Ralph going to be the new big bad? Because he's like, you put this woman in my head and now you put her in my house. You do not think things through. My neighbor's mad at me. There's a car in their living room. Come on, Wanda, clean up your mess.
So does Ralph have superpowers or is that just because of Agnes?
I think Agnes gave him Quicksilver powers, but
I think it was just his necklace. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that
the Dude Bro necklace. It was like, all the cool guys in high school, as soon as you lose the puka shell, no more powers.
Not as cool.
Believe me, that's when I lost all my powers.
Or when I cut my beard.
Yeah. Well, no, don't do that. Come on. Let's not be crazy there. Well, we'll finish up with some final thoughts. But before we get to that, our very own Eric Connor did some extra credit work that he did a few things that we're going to share with everybody here. And we're going to look at a few of these. So obviously the show is based on, there are these a number of, inspired by light parodies of TV shows. So Eric took the time to do a few TV posters and based on each of us. So the first one that we have here is Elena's show, which is, of course, Numbers, because that was, such a very important part of last week's show.
I was going to say, Elena's actually the Steve Kornacki of our group, who was if you all know, the election night, the khaki guy on CNN. So, though you only came by at the last couple, it was...
it got you a poster.
Stand backwards through time. So
I feel like now this is my Kornacki moment. I finally get to sleep. Like, it's been tallied. I get to change clothes. I get to roll up the map. I get to finally go to bed now that the finale has aired. So thank you, WandaVision. I won't just
You get to wear your weekend khakis.
Yeah, exactly.
You wear your weekend khakis instead
of your weekend khakis. And then, of course, we have for Jeff, we have the Jeff Williams show right there, which I think is a very nice touch. And
that shirt's nice, man. That shirt's nice. At least you got me looking fresh. I appreciate it.
Yeah, come on, the hands. Yeah, Jeff. But my wife said, "Is he gonna be okay with the hands?" I'm like, I think Jeff will be okay, but apologies. It felt like it was longer to change the hands than not.
And the interesting thing, of course, is that Eric had not done one for himself, but I insisted that he do, and then you whipped this up in the space of like 10 minutes. How could you not do Welcome Back, Connor? Michael, he did want to do the Connors, which I thought you might have appreciated more than Welcome Back, Connor. But I don't know. Look, when you have Horseshack and Barbarino and Epstein, I don't know. The fact that we can get them all there and I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot, Eric, but there might
my
be
hands are sweating to see what mine are gonna be. I'm expecting like Hannah Montana, Best of Both Worlds, like some kind of something.
If you could put that together Eric, if you could put that together in the next 10 seconds, Hannah Montana.
No, that will be for Hanukkah, Michael. I'm sending that to you.
But what I was going to say, Eric, there might be times where that as people may or may not know, you are a teacher, and there might be classes you've had where you're like, I'd kill for the sweat hogs right now. So maybe there could be some truth to that there.
Yeah, it's funny. I wasn't going to do one for me because it was actually I kind of put it as like a gift, like a going away gift, so to speak, for y'all because it's been so much fun. Actually, like you guys are deep.
Are you about to die?
No. And now's the time I tell you about my truth. So, but I actually, Christian, I had a Welcome Back Cotter lunchbox when I was a little kid.
Of course you did.
And then I got mocked and people would say, it's Welcome Back Cotter. And I got defensive. Now I would have leaned into that, but I don't know, for some reason, I'm like, why are you making fun of me? And so I stopped bringing the Welcome Back Cotter lunchbox to school. That's my pain.
But
you should bring it back and then sing the song and be like, "Welcome back."
Oh yeah, no, now
you fortunately
the lunchbox.
You fortunately had a whole line of John Travolta lunchboxes, so you then switched to the Saturday Night Fever, and then you had the perfect lunchbox with Jamie Lee Curtis on it. Okay, not saving the best for last, but me. The fact that I get to be Howard Hessman, Dr. Johnny Fever, are you kidding? The fact that I get to hang out with Lonnie Anderson, yes, please. But obviously the best one, I think, saving the best for last. And
it's with love. It's with love.
It is definitely with love, and I think he's gonna. No, I think that you are gonna like it, Michael, because it is definitely you to a T. It's very reminiscent of a show that was not covered on here, but much like Everybody Hates Chris, Michael hates everybody. The winking Agatha Harkness and Mephisto in the background. I think that Michael hates everybody. And by the way, Michael, you wish you had that jacket.
It goes with your hair.
I hope Chris Rock doesn't come for me.
No, I don't think he will. Anyway, thank you for making those. And Craig Robinson, you guys are hilarious. That's 90% on Eric. By the way, Michael B had a Space 1999 lunchbox. Awesome. Who would ever get made fun of for having a Martin Landau lunchbox? I mean, come on. But anyway, so that's obviously fun. And look, we had a lot of fun covering this show. I really think that as I alluded to earlier, the way that it celebrated television, like our friend Farad Muhammad mentioned, is it's the simple fact that it really celebrated television in a way that, you can appreciate at least the early episodes of the show and not even get all wrapped up in the superhero stuff.
I can't believe we even got a show like this. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre and wacky and
Yeah,
wonderful.
and by the way, you would never, if it wasn't for Disney having their own streaming platform, you never would have gotten this. You know, they wouldn't have put this on ABC. You know, they wouldn't have put this on ABC Family, which I guess is called Freeform now. They wouldn't have put it on ESPN.
After Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, I'm going to list all the networks that they own.
I'd like to thank all of you for the $5.99 you put into production.
Yeah. Ryan says, Ryan here from the UK. Want to thank you for all the episodes you've done this season. Really enjoyed seeing Falcon Winter Soldier. Looking forward to that. I do think that this sort of mid-afternoon West Coast time has gotten us some friends from across the pond. I believe Craig Robinson is also there. So I think it's great when we're able to get people from over there. Michael B with a question. Is Monica a mutant in the comics? No, she is not. See Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16, which I did purchase this fall, knowing that character would be very important.
Christian's very excited about his win.
Yeah, well, especially after I told Michael that I missed out on Fantastic Four number 94, which is the first appearance of Agatha Harkness, which I could have gotten for $50 last Friday in the evening, but I had no idea that I was missing this opportunity. So at least I've got Monica, and I don't know, maybe the speculation on Agatha is going to die down a little bit now that it's like, oh, well, now she's, nosy neighbor. Anyway, lots of fun to get a chance to talk about it. And I think this is a great way to kind of go around one more time before we finish the show. Cami Egan, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's everyone's anticipation for Falcon and Winter Soldier? I'm going to go with a solid 8 because it's going to be a different kind of show. But I do like Sam, and Bucky maybe he'll grow on me. But it'll be interesting to kind of deal with this idea that
Bucky with the good hair?
That we've literally, yeah, well, let's hope. But we've had this idea of Sam as taking over the mantle of Captain America. We've had this for 2 years now, since April 2019 when Endgame was released. So I would like to kind of push that story down the road a little bit, give us a little more. So I think the show will be fun. I think it'll be cool, but it's more like, oh, we're finally going to get more of it. So Michael, what would you put your anticipation, a scale of 1 to 10, and you can use negative numbers if you need to, Michael?
Girl, y'all know it's a 1. I mean, if we get Sam turning into Captain America, it'll be worth it for me, and I'm totally fine with that. But if we don't get that, I'm like,
yeah, I mean, if it's all about John Walker, U.S. agent, then it's like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown. I'm with you on that. Jeff, you already mentioned that you're looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if you have to put a number on it from 1 to 10,
I would go a solid 9. I think it's going to be action packed. I'm thinking it's going to be more like the cinematic movies that we've seen, that we're used to. And just like a quick note, Anthony Mackie was like hesitant to even do this because he wanted to just be in the movies and wanted to be up to that level. And Kevin Feige like kind of entrusted that. I mean, he pretty much said it's going to be. So I'm expecting it to be 6 hours of a movie, and I can't wait to see it. And kind of touching on some of the storylines with Anthony Mackie and with his Captain America, he had like some friction with the government. And what does that mean with the series of events that they're doing? It's like some of those themes we've seen in the trailer. So I'm hoping we actually see that in the series.
Yeah, I mean, look, just because Steve Rogers wants you to be Captain America doesn't mean you get to be Captain America. I mean, in the comics, Steve Rogers himself was removed as Captain America, like officially,
and jailed.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to look at. Before we get everybody else, Craig Robinson, I feel like it'll be Ant-Man comedic diversion. I'm in for that, if nothing else. I think there'll be some moments. And our pal Farad Muhammad, anticipation is like a 6. As you said, Christian, I'm not staying up until 2 a.m. for this. He's in Central Time, of course. I get it. Look, I didn't even stay up late for Mandalorian, and I allowed myself to run the risk of spoilers. But with this, I'm like, no, I don't want to have anything spoiled. So I did that for this. So Alanna, 1 to 10, anticipation for Winter Soldier and Falcon. Sorry,
7.5 ish. Like, I'm excited about it, but I'm not like I was really excited for WandaVision, and there's some other things that I'm really excited about coming up. This one I think is going to lay good groundwork, and if my theory is correct that these things are all building to kind of push for a big phase 4, then this is going to kind of set some groundwork that I think is needed, and I think it's going to do it in a fun, action-packed, and funny way. But this isn't one that I'm going to lose my mind over. There's some other ones that I'm going to lose my mind over, but
yeah, I think that.
And I do have to say though. Oh, sorry.
Look, we know it's Moon Knight. Anyway, go ahead.
Jeff, if you think that there is going to be 6 hours, you are going to be sorely disappointed because half of it will be credits. So
yeah, it's like 3.5.
3-hour movie that you will
be voiceover credits for the foreign cast, actually.
Yes, for a good 20 minutes at the end.
Farad making the point that the Wizard of Numbers would, of course, go for the decimal point. Yeah, that's a great point. Eric, expectations, excitement for Falcon and Winter Soldier, scale of 1 to 10.
For Baron Zemo's Purple Mask, a 9 for the show. I was going to say 0.5. Now it feels redundant. But 7 to 8. And I think I'm not as worried about the spoiler element. I'm just excited to see those actors again. I definitely think Anthony Mackie brings a lot to that role. Because Falcon, I think on paper might not have been that interesting. Really, not really super well defined. But I think he's made it such an interesting character. So to see him have actually a lot more time with the character is kind of exciting. But I'll be watching it. I mean, obviously, we're all going to be watching it every Friday, but maybe not Thursday 12:01. Probably won't have to do that.
I might.
Friday.
I might watch it, over lunch before we do the show. I mean, I'll get to it. I'll be excited, but honestly, if this were the week that Falcon and Winter Soldier premiered, I definitely would have watched Coming to America before I watched that, because I'm way more excited about that than I am. But that's
can't wait
just
to watch
me.
that tonight.
Yeah,
I'm watching that as well.
And of course, just like me, on in the background, you're going to be listening to your favorite R&B group from the late 80s, Sexual Chocolate. Anyway, this has been Marvel Movie Talk. We appreciate everybody who has been with us in the chat all along for these last 8 weeks. And we look forward to you guys sticking around. We will be back next week. And then 2 weeks from now is when we'll start really breaking down Falcon and Winter Soldier, because that's when that premieres. And until then, let's everybody let them know where we can be found. Me, as it says on the screen, at Christian DMZ. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the Blackcast YouTube channel, and you'll always know when our show's ready to go. And you can also watch on Facebook or Twitch, allegedly, but we're not big there. Michael, where can people find you? Besides Clubhouse.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at I Hate Michael Shirley, and on Twitter at Michael X Shirley. And
Jeff?
Yes, you guys can follow me at Jeff Will Jr. on all social media platforms. And also, I think the next time we'll talk will be for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. I'm working on a project for BuzzFeed where I actually recreate or make a DIY version of the Captain America shield, giving more Captain America facts and everything. And it comes out the day before, so March 18th. So look out for that. It'll be posted on my social media and then linked to BuzzFeed.
Well, Eric, what unbreakable object are you going to be making a replica of? Thor's hammer? The Black Panther suit? Are you going to make anything? And if not, where can people find you?
I'm going to do a recreation of the large ant from Ant-Man that was playing the drums.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, Eric, your movie is available. You talked about it the last few weeks. It's available starting today, right?
Yeah. So that website's othervoicesfilm.com. It's a documentary, deals with a group of friends in Israel and Palestine. So slightly heavier stuff there, more along the last 12 minutes of this show than the previous 15. But if you guys get a chance to rent it, it'd be amazing. And you can follow me at Count Eric Connor. And all your comments, by the way, guys, are great. I hope we can keep communicating with everyone who's in the chat, because Ghost, I see you, I feel you, I hear you. I just want you to know that. Maybe I don't feel you. That sounds creepy. But the other two, yes. So thanks, guys, and thank you for letting me be part of this, Christian. It was
Absolutely.
A lot of
Oh no, it's always fun to get a chance to chat with you. And Alanna, you have brought all the numbers with you the last couple weeks, and we really appreciated that. After last week, I was like, well, we have to see how it all shakes out. So thanks for coming back 2 weeks in a row. Where can people find you and keep tabs on you?
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. You can find me on Twitter at Alanna Jordan and on Instagram at Alanna J Jordan. And I'm so glad that you guys also mentioned your various builds, Jeff, because I almost let this whole episode go by without going, holy hell, the costume designers on this show, that Scarlet Witch outfit.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
Yeah,
so
I think
good.
we all like that, don't we?
What?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
the new Scarlet Witch outfit I think is nice. I was trading messages with our friend Colt Bedeau, who manages the Twitter account, and I thought I had to agree with him. It's a very cool look, and I can't wait to see more of it. Well, thanks again to everybody on the panel. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Make sure you tune in again next Friday. But until then, as the great Stan Lee would say, Excelsior!
You.